The most important question you have right now: can I read King of Scars if I haven't read the Grisha trilogy and the Six of Crows duology? And the answer is no. You need to have read both of those series before you get into King of Scars. It will spoil both of those series, but also all the characters in this book had been established in the previous books, so you will not be able to understand who they are and what they have been through. Same thing goes for this review. We can't really talk about this book without spoiling the previous books. So if you haven't read the previous books yet, go ahead and read them, and then come watch this video after that. I would not want to spoil them for you. I will have some spoiler talk on King of Scars at the end of this video because we need to talk about the ending, but I'll let you know when that part comes. The rest of the video is going to be spoiler free. Also, if you need a refresher on the magic system, I have a video on the Grisha magic system. You can go ahead and check that out. I'll link that in the description. King of Scars takes place sometime after the events of Six of Crows. The main characters of this series are Nikolai and Zoya from the Grisha trilogy and Nina from Six of Crows. You get them as viewpoint characters, and a few smaller characters have viewpoint chapters too. The plot is not super clean. There are two completely independent storylines going on. One is Nikolai and Zoya's storyline, and the other one is Nina's storyline. As a matter of fact, they're so independent that you can read Nikolai and Zoya chapters if you haven't read Six of Crows, and you can read Nina chapters if you haven't read the Grisha trilogy, and you won't get spoiled on the other series, and you'll get the complete King of Scars story for that particular viewpoint. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. I'm not even exaggerating. They are completely unrelated. They take place in completely different parts of the world. They do not affect each other a single bit. You're reading two separate books, basically. I can say it's about 2/3 Nikolai and Zoya and about 1/3 Nina. And this affects the general plot line quite a bit. It's sort of all over the place. For Nina's part, she's basically on a spying mission with Adric from the original trilogy. There is another character with them called Leonie. She's fun, doesn't have a lot going on. Nina pretty much carries that portion of the book. And her relationship with a new character is pretty great. They're trying to find Grisha and Fjerda and save them. That's their thing. They stumble upon a place where maybe Fjerdans are doing some experiments and they try to find out more about it. Nina is as great as she has always been. She's smart, funny, resourceful, and has new powers. For the Nikolai Zoya part, as you remember, Nikolai was turned into a demon in the Grisha trilogy. Then once the Darkling was killed, he returned to normal. But apparently the demon still stayed a tad between. So what happens is he turns into a demon at night now. So they chain him to his bed to make sure he doesn't go kill people. Zoya chains him, to be exact. Zoya plays a huge part in this book. She is a far more interesting character. I never really liked her in the Grisha trilogy, but in this one she's great. I do find it odd to have an 18-year-old general of the Second Army. I think that's what she is now. Actually, maybe she's the commander of the whole army? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me because being a general has a lot to do with experience leading people. As you keep ranking up, you get more and more people under your command. So I understand Zoya is very strong and capable, but like not quite sure if it's the same thing as leading the whole army. It's just a different skill that you're supposed to get over time. And the skills are not even necessarily battle related. There's a lot of organizational management that needs to be done. Anyway, it's a bit odd. It feels like favoritism, but I guess it's fine. Maybe all the experienced people were Darkling followers or something. Anyway, in this story, they're basically going on a random journey based on a hunch to maybe find a solution to get Nikolai rid of this demon form. And then like Nikolai is trying to make alliances against Ravka's enemies or whatever. The general war thing is still going on, and they're throwing a party so he can find someone to marry. I'm a huge fan of all the Grisha books, but honestly, plot-wise, this one was the worst. It was just too much wandering around randomly and stumbling upon things. I don't really like when there is no clear purpose or progress. And I have to say, I did get bored at times while reading this. Also, it's just not very interesting. Like, they will go somewhere and maybe find something that will maybe help Nikolai get rid of the thing. It's just all too coincidental for me. Nina's situation is similar. There is no one particular goal. It's just one of the missions she is on. So nothing is at stake immediately. I guess it's important to save and recruit new Grisha, but again, it's just too general of a plotline for me to have a sense of progress. this. Now, the character writing is respectable. I like Leigh Bardugo's dialogue and her scenes between characters. Those are still here. They don't disappoint. There are some great scenes, and basically those are the reasons why I enjoyed this book. But overall, if I had to rank this book among other Grisha books, I would rank it pretty low. Like, this was the first time I didn't really care to continue reading. And here's the thing, it doesn't go anywhere interesting in the end either, so I'm not looking forward to reading the next book. I will surely read it, but I don't have any expectations. A lot of people loved the ending. I absolutely hated it. It's the type of thing I hate a lot. I thought it was cheap, I thought it was out of nowhere, and I think it undermines the original trilogy. Having said that, I gave it 3 stars for some great character moments. Now that we started talking about the ending, this is a good time to go into the spoiler section. So you should stop the video if you haven't read King of Scars. Major spoilers and major rant about the ending coming up. Alright, since you're still here, let's talk about the ending. So one thing I really hate about sequels is when they undermine a dramatic moment that happened in the previous books. Also, one of my most hated tropes is the back from the dead trope. I have a whole video about my most hated tropes. I'll link it in the description. But this book does both. Listen, I know everyone thirsts over the Darkling. I know Leigh Bardugo just couldn't bring herself to keep the Darkling's death permanent. But come on. I think the way the Darkling was killed was pretty great. It was an emotional scene, and then they literally burned his body so that we all definitely know that this was the end. Well, guess what? It was within Saint Elizaveta's power to replace the body and save him. Really? What else is within Elizaveta's power? Can we learn about her powers beforehand maybe, so that we don't get these random resolutions? So technically, anything can be within anyone's power. The question is, has it been already established? And the answer is no. Especially if she literally has to say, it was within my power. Just no. I don't accept these out of nowhere powers. There were so many opportunities to have a different villain. The Darkling died in the perfect way possible. There is no reason to bring him back but fan service. And I was hoping this book wouldn't be fan fiction, so I'm not sure what the end game is here. Are we going to kill the Darkling again? I don't know what to expect in the next book, honestly. Again, since the plot is just too general, there's nothing going on either end. Nina is going to keep spying and finding other Grisha, and Nikolai is going to talk to the Darkling about the demon problem? What is the game here, guys? I don't know. I was so annoyed by the ending, I was going to give it 2 stars, but couldn't because I'm too much of a Grisha fanboy. I'd love to know your thoughts if you read it. Are you thirsting over the Darkling so much that you don't care at all how he comes back? Am I missing something here? Do you think all this was done masterfully well? Do you just want to see the Darkling get killed again? Don't tell me you want to see him get redeemed. Please, that would be worse. Anyway, that's it for this one, but there's tons of Grisha content on this channel, and there will be more, so don't forget to subscribe if you're interested, and I'll see you next time.